So one row of bonus events is now cleared. And what's even more ironic is that I finished 3rd, 2nd, and 1st in our first row of side events in the street class. And now we get to do it again, as this time we are doing ski jump, baseball, and speedway right. Let's go to ski jump. And I think for this one, let's use the Trailblazer. Why not? I don't think speed is really going to matter all that much for this. But we'll see how we go. Drive down the ski platform and launch your driver as far as possible. Total score is the sum of the distances jumped in 2 attempts. And so here we go for the ski jump, or at least the tutorial of it. Press and hold the launch button to alter the launch angle. Release the button to set the angle and launch your driver. If your car hits the ground before you launch, your try is forfeit. So I'd assume it's probably anywhere between 55 and 65 degrees where we will most likely be in our top firing range. In flight, use the aerobatic controls, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, airspeed, blah blah blah, your driver, a small upwards nudge. I've read that multiple times before. I think I know when it doesn't need to be read again. 332 yards. That is a lot. Anyway, I think we got the picture, so let's try and see. Oh, and we're only doing 2 rounds this time. I think it's probably going to be the best run that counts, not the overall distance. That probably did not help me. Still, how far am I going to get with this? Just over 250 yards. Okay, how good was it? 5th. Yeah, we've got some work to do. If we're going to get a top 3 for this one, we've definitely got some work to do. Well, as long as I'm here, I might as well try and see what else can be done. And nope, this is not gonna work. Not even close. Well, at least I got 4th. So, I'm not too far off where I need to be. Anyway, let's try that again. This time, I'm gonna lift. I just cannot stop hitting that gate. Out of all the things I try and tell myself to do, hitting that gate is the one thing I just cannot seem to stop doing. It's almost impossible. Well, at least I actually set a respectable distance that time. Okay, it's enough for a top 3. So I think this is dependent on overall yardage. Let's see if I can put together a similar run. Maybe I'll get lucky, or maybe I won't. But at least I can say I tried. I think I launched it too soon. Well, at least I got over 500 yards. I think that's going to drop me down to 4th. Oh, never mind. It was good enough for 3rd. Only by a few yards, but it was good enough for 3rd. And you know what? That's all I care about. I got P3 in the ski jump, as Katie was the winner. And there's everyone else. I'm actually surprised it only took me less than 10 minutes to actually get that top 3 run. I knew if I was going to get more than 500 yards in the overall yardage, then I would be in a good spot. And thankfully there it was. Another 2,600 credits, as I'm now up to less than 86,000 credits. And now we can move on to the next one. Baseball. Where if we win, we'll get 6 grand, we'll get 4,500 credits for silver, and 3,000 credits for bronze. So we're still making decent money even if we don't win. We just need to make sure that we keep getting the top 3 results in order to be successful. And I think for this, let's use... Yeah, we'll use Starflight for this one. Let's see if we can get this one to potentially work. Launch your driver, aiming for the tip of the baseball bat. Hitting the bat will bounce your driver back towards the baseball field. Points are scored for hit quality and flight distance. A 50-point bonus is awarded for a home run. The best score from 3 attempts counts. So this one is based on a singular run then. Press and hold the launch button to increase the launch angle. Release the button to set the angle and launch your driver. Driving over the edge or missing the bat scores 0. This is going to be interesting. And I'd assume all around we've got the catcher's mitt. Press the launch button to nudge your driver upwards. Time this carefully to get the best distance increase. Use aerobatic controls to avoid baseball gloves. Okay. So I take it the idea is I am meant to avoid the baseball gloves. Although technically speaking those are known as catcher's mitts. Or at least that's what the fans normally have. They're technically called a catcher's mitt. But anyway. Let's see if we can get this bitch to work. And that was very poor. In fact, it was so poor, I'm going to restart immediately. Again, that was very poor. Well, at least I actually scored this time. Well, I scored before, but before it was below 50. And because it was below 50, that was why I retried. Because I knew I could do better. Okay, that's a bit more like it. May not exactly be a home run, but it's a bit more like where I'm supposed to be. Oh, okay, so it's just dependent on the single run then. As I got a score of 233. Okay, I think I can probably continue this and see how much further this takes me. I don't think this is good enough for third. Oh, never mind. It was good enough for third. And you know what? That's all I care about. So Sally wins, Sophia second, and myself in third. Again, as I said before, I'm aiming for top 3s, I'm not aiming to win these events. Because when you know you've already unlocked everything in the game, you do start to understand that when it comes to just grinding your way in just trying to get wins you don't necessarily need, you eventually realise that the grind is not worth it, and you just want to simply continue with the game. That's basically what I want to do. I might not be winning, but at least I'm still completing the event, and that's where it counts. As we are now heading to Speedway Right. Maybe I will consider trying the baseball event again at some point to try and see if I can get P2, but right now at least, I don't give a shit. I just want this part of the game to be done, so then I can move on to the finals and just have fun. Okay, let's try this again. I also just noticed that if we do manage to win it this time around, we will be in 6 digits in terms of our credits. In other words, if we score victory this time around, we will be getting 100,000 credits at the minimum, or we will be on 100,000 credits at the minimum. Which is actually amazing to consider. But it was Jason who won on the first attempt. Meanwhile, I was able to get P2 in the second attempt. Meanwhile, I got P2. Okay, I'm restarting this. This is not working out in any way whatsoever. The winner of this race on the first attempt, by the way, was Jason. Fuck. Fuck off, Sophia. You too, Jack. Fuck both of you. Eat shit. And because of all that chaos, I suddenly wind up being the leader. Because of all those racks I got. That's actually pretty amazing. And Jason is closing in on both of us. However, I do manage to block Jason in the process as a result of wrecking Sophia. Sophia is closing in on me again, and there's the race standings as they look so far. I lead ahead of Sophia Martinez and Katie Jackson, and currently it is Ray Carter who rounds off the top 4. And now Frank moves up to 5th. Jason is now back on the charge again. Sophia is close to passing me, but I don't think she's going to get me in time. Even if I was doing this on pure pace, I don't think she would get me. Oh, shit. Okay. Keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. Okay. Victory is mine. Over Sophia, Katie, and Ray. And I get slammed from behind. With Frank 5th, Sally 6th, Jason 7th, and Jack finished 8th and last. I feel like I am going to have to get at least one shot on the ovals, because that is how I get the variety to work. But anyway, the chaos in front of me worked out in my favour. I did get some pretty heavy hits on the AI, and because they made more mistakes, that was how I managed to win. In my truck. I'm also not sure what truck this is meant to represent, but I would assume, judging by the shape and size, it's supposedly meant to represent a Dodge Ram. If I was to take a guess, it would either be a Dodge Ram or a Chevrolet Silverado. Because that's what I think this car reminds me most of. In the grand scheme of things. It would definitely be one of those two for sure. But I couldn't tell you which one. I am also getting a full race replay for this, because this is the final lap. I'm honestly amazed to say that did not shred the tyre in the end. But anyway, that's how it ends, and I also get the fastest lap in the process. Not bad. Also nice to see Katie and the Chili Pepper getting a top 3. That's what I like to see. But anyway, I emerge victorious again, with 2 slams, 2 power hits, and 1 blast out. And I also get the 2 bonus awards for the best wrecker, along with the fastest lap. So all in all, I take home a total of about... yeah, that's right. I think it's 9,300 credits, if I'm not mistaken, so that's less than 10 grand. And we have now passed 102... and we are almost at 103,000 credits. But anyway, there we go. That was level 2. And next time we will be moving on to level 3. Coming in the next episode.